Hi teachers, you are here today because you have been given the sacred duty of preparing your students for this year's Dare to Spell competition. So here are a few things that you should know and you should also share with your students. So in this module, we will cover a few topics. Okay, we will go through very briefly what the competition is, what it entails, how judgment is made, how rulings are made, and most importantly, how you can prepare your students for the competition. Okay, so as you know, Dare to Spell is a spelling competition that tests students on their English vocabulary. So they will need two things: the knowledge of the word and the ability to spell that word correctly, which, as we as teachers can attest, is not easy.
It's not easy.
Often, I find myself doing corrections more than actual teaching.
Yes. We cannot see spell words.
Then, from this, you can see the importance of this competition. Right, so before we go any further, please welcome Ms. Faz, who is going to tell to you about the competition rules. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. So now let's look at the competition rules. First, the eligibility, which are who can participate. For the primary school, remember only from year 4 until 6 can participate. And in secondary school, from Form 1 until Form 5, students can participate in this competition. However, do remember, from each district, they can only send one representative. Next, let's look at the word list. Okay, so for the word list in this competition, from primary school, they will start from A2 level, and for secondary school, they're going to start from B2 level. And from there, they will move up, advancing to a more difficult words. However, do remember, teachers, to train your students to use the British language spellings. Okay, the British English spellings. For example, realize or color. Okay, they have different spelling from American to the British English. Okay, next. Time limits. Okay, train your students to answer or use any assistance that they wish to ask for in 30 seconds. Remember, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, not minutes. Okay, so we only have 30 seconds for them to answer, to give their spellings to the master spellers and also to the judge. Okay, so the first bell will be rang or ting at once the master speller says the words. Okay, ting, and after that, the second bell will be rung after the 30-second limit is up. Okay, so after that 30-second limit, can they do anything?
They can despair.
Okay, they can go back down to their seat. Okay, so that means after 30 seconds, they are not allowed to do anything. Alright, and anything that comes after the 30 seconds is not accepted. Correct? Okay?
I think as teachers, the judges might want to give students the dignity of finishing their answer. However, if the students answer after the 30 seconds, even though their answer is correct, it's against the rules to accept the answers.
Yes. Okay, let's continue with what they can ask for assistance for. So we have 3 that the students can ask the master speller to give some clues or help. So this is what we call as assistance. So the first one is they can ask for meaning. Train them to ask for meaning for better understanding of the word that they will spell. Okay, for example, meaning please. And then the second one is to ask for how the word is used in a sentence. So for example, sentence please. Sometimes the students, the spellers, your students, will confuse by, like, for example, homonyms, they don't know either it's the right one that they're thinking of. So they can ask for that. the last one is usually what the students will ask the master speller, which is to repeat the word. If it is unclear by what the master speller says, they can ask the master speller to repeat. Okay, though do remember that all these assistance of asking for help from master spellers need to be within that 30 seconds. Okay, so try to train them to ask the shortest one, meaning please, sentence please, repeat please. Okay, all right, and again, remember that all the above mentioned, once again, I like to remind your students that it has to be in that 30 seconds. And everything should be in British English. Okay, next. Okay, the submission of answers. Okay, so this has changed since last year. Alright, where the spellers or your students does not need to repeat, spell and repeat to submit their answers correct. So if they know how to spell it, they can immediately spell once the master speller or the ring has been rang. Okay? But what happens if, how to know if the answer has already been submitted?
Well, that will be for the judges to decide. So students and teachers, if you want to clearly indicate that you are done spelling, repeat the word again. It might not be a requirement, but it helps the judge to know, okay, this contestant has finished spelling, we can check the spelling. Okay? Another question.
Okay.
What if I spell the word discombobulate, D-I-S-C-O-M-B-U-L-A-T, eating? The bell rings before I can repeat the word. What happens next?
It is still accepted because you spell it within that 30 seconds.
Okay.
Even though you don't repeat the word, it is still accepted. Okay? So we don't follow the repeat, spell rules anymore.
Although it would help.
Yes, it would help the judges. If you're sure that you have finished spelling the words, just repeat the word so that it shows you are done to the judges. Okay? Alright, next. Reattempting a word. So this is when your student might already spell some of the letters, but they wish to change, or they remembered how to spell it correctly after that. Okay, they can reattempt the word where they start from the first letter. However, the letters that has been mentioned, that has been said, cannot be changed, either the arrangements and also the letters. Okay, if this above mentioned rules is not complied by your students, they will face elimination or disqualified, or they will be disqualified. Okay, maybe it's not clear. Now let's look at a video of what it means by reattempting a word.
Spell the word banana.
Banana, B-A-N-A-N-A. Banana, B-A-N-A-N-A.
Okay, so you heard what the speller mentioned on the first attempt. He spelled B-A-N-N-A, and then he remembered that it's actually wrong, and then he goes for a second attempt where he spelled B-A-N-A-N-A. So here you see that the arrangement, and not the arrangement, the letters has been changed from N to A. So is this accepted?
I want to say no.
Correct. It's not accepted. Okay, so if they wish to reattempt, they need to repeat the first arrangements of letters, okay, before they give a new one.
So I think what we essentially need to tell the students is they only have the one chance.
Yes.
Right? So they really need to slow down and take their time.
So you will see some useful tips from Mr. Lee after this. Okay, so how to teach your students to be calm and how to do better in the competition.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, next rule is that for the stages and rounds, we have 4 different rounds. The first stage is non-elimination stage, where you, the students, are given 3 non-eliminating warm-up rounds, where even if the spellers or your students misspelled or give an incorrect answer, they can still advance to the next stage or round. But do remember, maybe for this round, the judges might give some feedbacks. Yes, some feedbacks on clarity, voice protections. Okay, so tell your students, okay, don't worry, the first 3 rounds are non-elimination rounds, and it is where they can improve the way they deliver their answers. Okay, next is the elimination round, which starts at the 4th round. Okay, so starting from the 4th round, spellers or your students are eliminated upon their first incorrect answer, and this will continue until there are 5 remaining spellers. Okay, the 5 remaining spellers will advance to the semi-final round. So in this round or stage, each of the remaining 5 remaining spellers, okay, will be eliminated after 2 consecutive mistakes. Okay, 2 consecutive mistakes. Only then they will be eliminated. If it's not consecutive, they still have a chance to be in the game. Alright? Until it is left with how many, Mr. Lee? 2. 2 spellers only. And these 2 spellers is where we will decide, actually they are the ones that deciding who's the winner, right? Okay. Okay, where 2 spellers will compete, and the winner will be decided if the speller able to spell the opponent's word correctly and their own word correctly. Then that means that speller is the winner of the competition. Okay, what happens if both of the spellers cannot spell? Okay, usually they will give a new word. So don't worry, they'll give a new word for you to spell, and you still have a chance to redeem your chance to be the winner of the Dare to Spell competition. Next. Okay. Alright. Grounds for disqualifications, or what the students do to be disqualified. Okay, first, we only have 3. Simple. Okay. 3 first if they exceed the 30 seconds limit. Okay, I've been repeating 30 seconds. Hopefully it is already sticks inside your mind. Okay, 30 seconds. If they exceed, they will be eliminated or disqualified. All right. Next, if they change the letters or arrangements in their answers, like for example, what we showed just now, the reattempting word. If they do not comply to that, they are eliminated. They are disqualified. Last. Okay, this is something that you really need to remind your students, because we know kids, okay, they will have something to say and they're very eager. Okay, so do remind your students if to be silent and respect the competition. Okay, so if they constantly disturbing or disrupt the competition, like for example being unruly, being very loud, or like mocking the other contestants, okay, they will be first given a warning, okay, by the judges or by the master speller. But if they continuously doing that, they will be disqualified. So remind your kids to behave themselves. Okay, next. Alright, this is like a very summary. This is the summary of what I've mentioned before, the education criteria. First, make sure that the spelling accuracy, okay. Second is the pronunciation should be clear, and the time limit 30 seconds, and also restarting rules, which is the reattempting word. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now let's move on to the next part, which I will give it to Mr. Lee. Welcome.
So, here are a few key components of the competition, things that your student must get right. So first, the spelling fundamentals. It would help to get them to recognize certain spelling patterns. For example, in English, Shen is always T-I-O-N. But I have noticed every time my students write the word traditional, they would use the Malay spelling.
Yes.
So T-I-O-N is one such pattern that they should know. Okay, this could help them to avoid mistakes. Secondly, students need to understand the competition rules. They need to know when they are eliminated and when they are not eliminated. This is for their own benefit. Remember, for the first 3 rounds, even if they get it wrong, they remain in the competition. Okay? If they don't know that, they might run away and cause a scene. It will be embarrassing. It would affect their emotional state. It will affect their performance, and because of that, you lose the competition. So again, very important that they know the rules.
Yes.
Okay. Third one, vocabulary building. Now this is a competition about vocabulary. So if you don't have the vocabulary, how are you supposed to excel? Okay, so I think this third point speaks for itself. Right, next, listening and comprehension. So this is important when they ask for the definition or the meaning. Oh, sorry, I just repeated myself.
Yeah.
When they ask for the definition or the sample
Sentence.
sentence, they need to be able to understand the master speller. Okay, so practice listening with them. Next, their delivery. I think this is the most important part.
Yes.
Because we've seen many contestants fail at this part. Delivery should be slow and clear and loud because they only get one chance. So, normalize asking for clarification from the master speller to avoid misassumptions.
Yes.
Like words that sound the same, or words like practice, the noun is spelled with a C. Practice, the verb is spelled with an S. This is up to the students to ask for clarification. Okay? So always make it a point to remind your students, ask for clarification. Either the definition or the
Sentence.
sample sentence. Okay? Secondly, train your students to trace before answering. Now, when you trace, 1, you organize your thoughts. 2, you slow down your pace. So, they would not feel as nervous. Okay? So, it helps them answer slowly and clearly. Okay? Last point, enunciate slowly and clearly. In school, perhaps it would help to practice using a microphone. Because from my own personal experience, I've seen students who do not know where to stand or where to position their mouths when using a microphone, and that could affect the clarity of their answers.
Yeah.
So even in school, even if there's no one around and it's very quiet, use a mic. Get your students used to speaking into a mic. Okay? Right. So here are a few techniques. Word mapping. Word mapping is when you have a root word like excite, and then you ask your students to add in prefixes or suffixes. Excitement, exciting, excited. So this will help them to recognize the spelling patterns. Okay, and it will help them to memorize more words.
Okay.
Okay, next, you should have listening exercises. As we said before, it's very important that they understand what the master speller is saying. Otherwise, asking for definition or asking for sample sentences will serve no purpose. They cannot understand.
Okay.
Right? Moving on. Time practice rounds.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, students answer very quickly, BATCH. It's because they are nervous. They are scared. They are worried they might run out of time. So, familiarize themselves with the pressure of performing within a time limit. So, every time you practice in school, maybe set a time limit.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. So, last one. Confidence and presence. Now, you should get other students in school, not just the representative, to practice spelling together. Because you want your student to be confident when they are spelling in front of a large audience. So how do you do that in school? By getting his classmates or people from other classes to help. Right, so this is a game I like to play with my students called Quick Draw, as in a cowboy quick draw, to see who can spell the fastest. So what you do is, you have students standing in pairs, then you give them a word. So the first student to spell the word correctly gets a point. And then at the end of the exercise, whomever has the highest points is the winner, and you can reward them accordingly. Okay? Or you can use other similar games about vocabulary, like Scrabble, Wordle, Wordle, what's the other one?
Woogle.
Google, yes, sorry, the Scrabble-like competition. Okay, so anything to do with vocabulary can help, because we understand memorizing a list of words cannot be fun. It is physically impossible. Okay, so these are some activities that you can do to enhance the preparation process so that it is not so boring. Alright? Okay, so before we end this, allow me to do some further nagging.
Okay.
Number one, practice their vocabulary. Number two, train them to remain calm even when under a time limit. Number three, spelling patterns are very important. Number four, always ask for clarification from the master speller. Okay? Next. Teach them to trace, either on the palm, E-A-T-C-H, batch, or E-A-T-C-H. When they do that, the extra finger movement distracts them from their nerves. It indirectly forces them to slow down and to consider their answers, because as you know, only
One chance.
Okay? Right. Again, ask them not to go too fast. Okay?
Don't rush.
Letter by letter. B-A-T-C-H. Batch. Okay? Alright. One last thing. If the word is a verb, it is always in its root or base form. No tenses. Okay? If it's a noun, it is always in the singular form.
Is there a new word list that they can use? Okay, however, I don't think they will be providing any last year's word list. Okay, right. So you have to look for them either in dictionaries or some online words that might come out.
Yes. So again, there is no official word list. Okay? There's no, if you are in primary school, the difficulty of words will start from A2, whereas if you're in secondary school,
B2.
okay, prepare accordingly.
Yes. Okay, so next question. Then how do you want to train your students? I think Mr. Lee just told you just now about the useful tips and also some training techniques. So you can refer to the slides later. Okay? And the last one, can a participant appeal, okay, to the judge decision? I don't think you can, but it is your right to appeal. Then you can either go to the judge or you can go to the technical officers.
Well, in the competition itself, as stated in the working paper, all judges' decisions are final. However, if you have any dissatisfactions with how the competition is carried out, we always welcome your feedback, because that is how we improve.
Yes, correct.
So, is there anything else you would like to add?
I don't think there's any more.
In that case,
Oh, there's another one.
I'm sorry. Additional resources.
Okay.
Here are just some resources that you as a teacher could use to train your students. Okay, first, the English Vocabulary Profile, or the EVP. It should be familiar to some of you. Now, bear in mind, the words in the competition will come from the EVP and also of the EVP. So this is not the be all and all.
It's not the main.
Yes. Think of it
Sources.
as a jumping on point.
Yes.
Okay? If you really have no idea how to start, use the EVP. Okay? Or use the Cambridge Online Dictionary. Okay? Because even in the EVP itself, there are sometimes spelling mistakes. So if you go to Cambridge or any other similar British dictionaries, always look for
The UK spelling.
the UK spelling. Okay? And I think I previously mentioned this, Woggle. So it's
It's an online Scrabble game.
yes.
Okay. I think for those that participating in Scrabble, you will know about this.
So don't be afraid to explore. There are hundreds, if not millions, of word games out there.
Yeah.
So make it a fun experience. Remember that the important thing is they leave this competition with more words than they had before. Okay? So,
Secondary school is very important to have a lot of vocabulary pool.
yes, that's true.
Use this chance. Okay?
So, thank you for listening. And as a teacher who has, shall we say, a student participating in this competition, I will see you on the battlefield. Anything else?
There's no, same as me, you will see me in the competition, but I'm not bringing my students. The other teacher's gonna bring it. Alright, that's all.
Thank you for listening.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.